Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Trade Talks Live. I am your host today, Henry Wakefield. Squirt, man, look, I've got to fix that, don't I? Sure do. Let's fix that. Man, welcome. Appreciate y'all showing up today. It is freaking hump day. It's Wednesday. We've got Roger. He is speaking on stage right now up in Oklahoma at the ASA conference that's going on. He'll be speaking today and tomorrow. So you've just got me for the next couple days, guys. He may pop in just a little bit. We'll find out. It doesn't matter. We're here. Glad that you showed up. What we do here every day is we talk trades. We talk a lot of different aspects of the trades. We don't just talk one trade here. We talk a bunch of different trades. I am Henry Wakefield, 20-year pipe fitter by trade. My whole family's plumbers. That's who I learned from. Roger's my dad. And, he taught me a lot coming in. And then I shifted and went and learned pipe fitting whenever I hit the union, because they didn't want to give me all that credit. But it's all good. Now I get to run LeakPro. And we would like to thank LeakPro for hosting or for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks, where we build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And when I say a system, guys, there's a couple different devices that we build. Build the probe, which is a T-handle style stainless steel rod, super durable. It's what we prefer for that meter to the home service for probing in and out of the ground. But then also you've got that sidekick. And the sidekick, it's a pistol grip style with an aluminum rod. That aluminum rod, it's a less dense metal, so it enhances the sound better. That's what we love when you're listening through concrete, because it eliminates the concrete you're listening through. So check out the complete kit at our website, leak.pro, on how you can actually add leak detection to your business. I just want to say good morning, everybody. Ungovernable here. Morning hump day. Yes, sir. Love Wednesdays. Matt, Squirt, what's up, brother? It's time to party. Of course, man. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Go LeakPro and Roger Wakefield Plumbing Education for sure. Morning, brother. I hope everything is going great. It's all downhill after today. Unless you're working 6 or 7 days a week. Know how that goes sometimes too. But not this week. Luckily, I've kind of adjusted. It's been nice. And we're actually going to talk a little about that today or tomorrow on how to actually maintain when you are working 6, 7 days a week. But today, let's kick off with the national news here. And man, something on the thumbnail, one of my favorites. Texas has a $2.7 billion semiconductor fab that's groundbreaking now. Big headline out of Texas, the groundbreaking for that brand new $2.7 billion semiconductor fab. Now, guys, this is where I actually started in the union. I was working for Dad for a company out at Texas Instruments in the semiconductor fab plant. Now, I wasn't in the fab at those times on those early days, but after I think I was a second-year apprentice, I started going into all the fabs and learning to smock up and all that stuff. But it's pretty freaking cool. Now, why should tradespeople care about this? Fabs are some of the most MEP-intensive projects in construction. And guys, you talk about going into a subfab, all you see is piping and ductwork everywhere. That's how MEP intensive it really is. There's a system and a process of how every line gets run in that place so that there's room for growth in the future. Because those fabs, they don't throw a lot of tools in to start out. It's just a few. Then they slowly gear up and start building more and more and adding more tools. That's why these things are MEP heavy, not just in the build, but for a long time after also, until the fab's actually completely full. But then when that happens, they go back and start upgrading. So definitely a good thing to get into if that's something that interests you. I did a lot here in Dallas, but I'm also local here too. And that's why I really enjoyed it. But there's times you're working 6 or 7 days a week out there. And guys, this is ultra clean piping systems. Everything's ultra pure, very few particles in it. It gets sucked down, vacuumed out, cleaned out, everything before they actually release it to the actual gases that are going to go through it. There's redundant electrical systems, HVAC with extreme filtration for these clean rooms, guys. And also mechanical rooms, they look like they're out of NASA because there's so many things running in and out. They stub into a room, you stick your head in there. It's like, oh, this is a little tight space that you run around and see everything. But all the pipes are stubbed out into different spots. Everything's clean. It's pretty. It's all stainless jacketed. It's nice and neat. It's pretty freaking cool at some of the places that you get to go to. But, you got to think about it. Fabs require thousands of trade jobs. Okay. Pipe fitters and welders and stuff, installing all the high purity process piping, plumbers. I mean, everybody in our union got trained to do orbital welding. Whether you were on the pipe fitting side or the plumbing side, everybody learned process piping and how to actually do that. Do the welds and all that stuff, write the programs and stuff. But I actually worked out on the hill, so I was learning that even before I stepped into that class. So they were kind of impressed. They were like, man, you've actually been working this and doing it and trying to learn it. It's like, yeah, I can orbital weld already. Been doing it for a couple of years now. But there's also electricians that are wiring redundant UPS and backup systems, HVAC pros that are managing humidity down to fractions of a percent. Okay. This is a huge opportunity for anybody in mechanical, electrical, and the plumbing trades, guys. I enjoyed fabs, learning from some of the old school, the travelers. That was one of my favorite things I think about the fab is how many travelers would come to work. Because then I would get to learn some different process installation theories that are done all around the country, not just here, not just the local stuff. I got to bend plastic piping with a guy out of Oklahoma, and it was all double containment to be able to pull PFA lines through. Had a really great time doing some of that stuff. Learned some cool stuff also. But it also signals where the U.S. is headed, okay? Reshoring the chip manufacturing area. And that means ongoing demand for skilled labor in these mega projects. And if you're in Texas or even neighboring states, keep an eye on the subcontractor opportunities here. This project can be hungry for manpower. And for my service contractors listening, this fab eventually needs maintenance contracts. Okay, so get in early. That way you can set yourself up in that position to be able to take over some of these contracts. Because I know a lot of companies, that's all they do is work out on the hill, as we call it for Texas Instruments. And the fabs keep them busy all the time. They don't do a whole lot of other work. We've talked about that before, where Dad, Roger over there, was the one helping them get other projects that weren't just clean room semiconductor work. Got to do the water park, got to work on a casino expansion, got to do a lot of cool things, even around town, that were out of their norm. But semiconductor work is what really kept them busy. So jump over here in comments real quick. Helping Hands Handyman Service. Good morning, brother. Man, hope you are doing great today. Wonderful hump day. Matt personally doesn't recommend it. Working on 7 days a week. You miss a lot of things in life. That's for sure. Like, I was married with kids. I missed a lot of life. I think I was working 7/12s for 3.5 months of nights whenever I had my last child, and I only took off 2 days, and then I was right back to work, right back at it, working that grind. But we do definitely miss a lot of things sometimes whenever we're working a little too much. We'll get moving over here into website review. And today, brought a forum back, contractortalk.com. The forums. It's been a while since I've actually pulled any up or talked to any of them. So today we've got contractortalk.com. Okay, this is one of the longest running online forums for tradespeople. This thing's been around a long time. I love some of this old school stuff. This is where you find some of that good old school knowledge, which is some of my favorite to get. I always loved working with the oldest guy on the job if I could. But what I like about this thing, it's not a lot of fluff, guys. It's contractors talking shop, real world scenarios, tough questions, problem solving. That's my favorite thing about the trades is just because you ran into a problem doesn't mean you're the first person to ever see that problem. Unless it's a brand new technology, and then you could be. If you do, get on a forum, put it out there. How did you figure it out? What process did you take to fix and overcome the situations? Because you're going to find threads here on everything, from how to bid more accurately to fixing tricky code violations, things like that. And yeah, even a little bit of venting too, because we're tradespeople. We like to vent occasionally because guess what? It's hard when you're working on top of each other all day, every day. You need somewhere to vent. So you will see some of that here. It's part of it, though. That's why we're always hard on each other. It keeps us going, keeps us motivated. It happens. And we normally feel better after you get it off your chest. But for solo operators or smaller companies, this is like having a virtual crew that you can bounce ideas off of, guys. And that's one of my favorite things about these forums. This one's contractor talk, so it's going to be a variety of things, not just one. Occasionally, I'll pull up some different ones that are actually more trade specific. And if you're not in any forums, find one for your trade first. Get started there. If you're curious about trades, period, something like this, it's a little broader. Okay. Is it perfect? No, not at all. Some posts, they'll go sideways. I mean, we know how rabbit holes of the internet go. But you've got to filter some opinions from the expertise because some actually know what they're talking about, but you'll see they kind of upvote. More people comment on things if it's good or bad. But if you treat it like a toolbox, you grab the parts that you need, leave the rest that you don't, it can actually sharpen your business skills and give you perspective outside of your own market. And that's what I love here. Because I love to know what's going on at the different trades, things like that. But guys, unlike social media that gets flooded with all the ads and all this stuff, this is built by trades for the trades. It's kind of simple. It's just a forum. It's a spot that we can actually go talk, communicate about what we want. And we can help each other. We can go there to learn. We can go there to ask questions. Whatever it is that you need to do, it's a good resource. Contractortalk.com. So not too bad. Plumber in the trades. Good morning, good sir. Had math test for fitting allowances and learning rolling offsets and equal spread calculations. Big brain stuff. I love it, man. That's big brain stuff. That is where I thrive right there. I was a pipe fitter. So offsets, funky offsets, rolling offsets, double offsets, multiple, like a lot of guys in the field are like, how do you even see that? And it's like, well, it takes some time, but after some experience, that big brain stuff gets a little easier to where it's not as difficult. You learn the right way to do it from the right people. And it makes the trades pretty simple if you learn from the right guys. Like I remember a lot of times everybody's like, ooh, building a mechanic room, that's a lot of work. And it's like, no, it's not. You start from the top, you work your way down, you use all the tools to pick up the heavy stuff. It's not that bad, but it takes a little while to learn the right process to get it done that easy. So now we'll get rolling over here into business growth and upselling smart home tie-ins. Okay. This is one of the fastest growing revenue streams for plumbers, HVAC techs, and electricians. Customers want convenience and they want to keep up with the modern things coming out. We love smartphones. Obviously, everybody has one, at least maybe two, like me. Sometimes you need it. Smart homes, who doesn't want that? Okay. The convenience of everything, being able to access stuff from our phone. We can control our lives from our phone pretty much nowadays. But if you're installing a new water heater, why not add that smart shutoff valve that actually texts the owners if it detects a leak there, so they can quickly just shut the valve. They can check it when they get home and find out why water is there. Is it actually the water heater leaking? Is it going to rupture? Is it bad? Or did somebody spill something and it got the sensor wet? Is there some condensation line coming in from somewhere? What is it? But being able to have that access to shut the water off no matter where you are, as long as you have cell service, you're good. If you're doing an HVAC replacement, offer Wi-Fi thermostats or smart vents, okay? The beauty of the upsell is it increases your average ticket without adding much labor. But you're selling the value, the convenience that it's going to bring that customer. So it's not a major upsell. It's just helping them, making their life easier. And that's what you're helping them gain, honestly. Most smart devices are plug and play once you've got the system installed. Okay. Here's the kicker though. Homeowners are already being bombarded by ads for this stuff. They've heard about it. They'd rather buy it from the pro standing in the living room than take a gamble on what they see on Amazon. Okay. They may hear about it on a YouTube video. If you're the person there working on their system, they want to hear it from you too. I've seen some HVAC contractors that add $500 to $1,000 per job just by bundling smart home tie-ins. Don't leave that money on the table. Train your techs to mention it. Show a demonstration of how convenient it is, things they can help them with. And frame it as a way to protect or enhance the system that you just installed. They don't want to install a big fancy system and not spend a little extra for preventative maintenance, things that's going to help them in the future and help them make that system last even longer. That's the cool parts. So don't forget that, you're not just trying to upsell them. You're trying to give them better options to help them in their future, take care of their home, because that is one of their biggest investments. So don't forget that for sure. Let's get moving on in here to service work. And, customer communication scripts here. One of the top complaints that we hear from most homeowners is not about the price. It's about confusion. Okay. I've learned that a lot in sales here lately. It's don't confuse your customer. Confused customers don't buy, or they don't understand what the tech is actually doing, or they feel like something wasn't explained clearly. And we talk about communication a lot, guys. But honestly, sometimes you need that customer communication script. You need something to keep everything based on. And this is something that you need to kind of run your guys through on a normal basis for your normal service call guys until they knock it out of the park every time that you hit them with the different questions. Okay. Think of it like this. When your tech knocks on that door, do they know exactly what to say to set the expectations? Okay. Something like, hey, hi, I'm here to check your system today. Before I start, I'm going to walk you through what I'm looking for and what we'll review any findings together before any work begins. That one line takes away 90% of misunderstandings. Look, I'm going to walk you through this. Here's what we're going to do. But I'm not going to touch anything. I'm going to tell you everything that's going on before we start so that you can approve it. Customers want to hear that. Okay. There have been teams out there that have been trained to simply add a 5-minute door script, reducing callback complaints by 40%. Scripts aren't about making your tech sound robotic, guys. Okay. It's about consistency. It doesn't have to be the same words every time. It's the main gist points. Everybody receives things different, and that's fine. We are all different. But you have to consistently cover the main points so that the communication's clear, the customer knows exactly what to expect. Okay? You don't want one guy over-explaining everything and then another guy rushing it along. Okay? You want every customer feeling the same professionalism across the board. So train your guys, run them through it, test them. That's one of my favorite things to do is sit down. And we used to do this a lot at the big company. We'd pull each other in and bounce rough situations off of each other and act like you are that customer. Or boom, this is the first impression. Come knock on my door and act like you're here to work for me, and let's see how it goes. So it's a great thing to do. I like to run through those situations, which did a lot of acting, I guess, in school back then. Matt over here, got to go be a hero. Have a great Wednesday. Go LeakPro and Roger Wakefield Plumbing Education. Love you. Love you, brother. Hope you have a wonderful day out there being a hero. We all got to do it sometimes. We'll move over here to material equipment and tools. Thermal cameras for residential inspections. Okay. Now, we use these occasionally. I've seen them HVAC, talk about them sometimes in leak detection, things like that. But a lot of people ask, is it really going to be an ROI, or is it just a waste of money? Okay. Honestly, it's going to depend on how you actually use it. Okay, if you're an HVAC tech, a thermal camera can pinpoint insulation gaps, duct leaks, quick. It can see what you can't. That's the major thing. It shows you the temperature difference. You can see exactly where that duct's leaking. Quick. That saves a lot of time, energy, and efforts. That is a quick ROI for you. If you're a plumber, it can track down a hidden leak without ripping into the drywall. Like, a lot of people ask me that about LeakPro. It's like, oh, can you find a leak in a wall? And it's like, well, you'll hear it. A wall's a hollow space, so the sound's going to travel all through it. So is it going to tell you, yeah, it's right there? No, not really. But if you've got thermal, the temperature is going to be different. It's like I tell most people, most of the time, if it's in a wall, the wall's wet somewhere. So the sheetrock gets wet. I kind of have that idea. Depending on the wall. Some aren't, and I get that. That's where this thermal will come in handy. You don't have to tear into the walls to find out for sure. Electricians, you can spot overloaded breakers or loose connections heating up before they actually fail. Every time you go into a home, pull out your thermal. Take a look at the panel. See what's going on. It's going to visually let you know really quick, and saving time is saving money. So it's another ROI. But the key is, don't just buy the tool for show. Don't buy it just to look like you know what you're doing. Make sure that you're charging for the added diagnostic. Okay. It's extra. It's a specialty. That's what I tell people about leak detection. They're like, how do I charge for it? I say, how do you charge right now when you send it to another guy? Oh, well, we charge separate. Well, that's what you need to do whenever it's you doing it. It's a separate line item. It's a separate service. It's a separate diagnostic fee. It's not just part of it. Get paid for the work that you do and the tools that you use, because a lot of times the difference between the DIY and the professional has all the right tools to get the job done. Most of the time, that's all it boils down to. Some contractors roll it into a premium diagnostic fee, and you can do that too if you want. Others use it as a wow factor in sales. Show the homeowner the glowing hot spot on the wall. Suddenly, that upsell fix, it's not a hard sell. They can visually look at that camera and go, oh my gosh, it's that much hotter right there? Yeah, oh no, I can tell that we've got to fix that outlet. There's a problem. Yeah, tear in there, get it fixed. I can tell this is about to turn into a disaster. A lot of people learn visually. Visual sells it so quick as to, it's something they can actually see. Okay? I guess they could put their hands on it, but you may not want them to, depending on how hot it is. But the good cameras, they can be pricey, guys. But if you actually build them into your service workflow, they can pay for themselves fast. We talked about that a lot, like sewer cameras. Yeah, it's an expensive deal. But guess what? Every time you send a sewer camera into a line, there's a fee for it. Why? Because there's always a chance that that camera can get stuck. If that camera ever gets stuck and you ever got to tear in to get it out and repair it and fix it and replace it, that has to be part of your fees and diagnostic coverages also. But if you're just letting them sit in the truck, that's when they turn into a gimmick. You're not going to get ROI on a tool that just sits there and you don't use. It's pretty simple, but how many tools do you have that you don't use very often? Probably a few. Guaranteed. I know I do, especially nowadays. I mean, I'm not building a lot of mechanical rooms either though. But I've got torches. How often do I pull out a torch to cut pipe? Not anymore. Now, get me a welding machine here soon. Maybe we will be doing it more. We'll find out. But main thing, guys, is if you're going to invest in the new materials, equipment, tools, embrace them, study them, learn the right ways to use them to help you save time. That's why most of the tools that we get, because they're going to help us save time, and time is money. So don't get a thermal camera and just leave it in the truck all the time. Actually pull it out, put it to use, and let it help you. That's what tools are out there for. Speaking of tools, we'll move on in here to the sponsored spot, and we'll talk about LeakPro. And, want to thank LeakPro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks. They let us come in here, hang out, talk trades for an hour each and every day, Monday through Friday, except for major holidays. But, here's the truth, guys. Leaks on water lines and stuff, they don't wait. It's going to keep leaking until it's fixed. You don't need to wait either. Your customer shouldn't have to wait. Okay. Most third-party leak detection companies out there, 2 to 8 weeks of waiting. 8 weeks is what I'm hearing sometimes. Like, I have a lot of plumbers that call me. They're like, man, 8 weeks. I can't make my customer wait that long. You shouldn't. If you're losing jobs because you can't handle the slab leaks yourself or the hidden leaks, LeakPro gives you the gear and the training to actually take control. You're the reason I do what I do. Okay. I heard the story from my family of plumbers all my life losing leak detection jobs to the leak detection people because they just end up fixing it. Most of them now have plumbing license to their company so that they can do the repairs. Don't make your customers wait. Put the tools in your hands. I offer a 2-day in-person course here, guys. You got to get the complete kit. Then I'll train you exactly how to use both pieces of equipment. I've got a slab out here to walk you through 30 to 50 leaks in a couple days to build your confidence and your know-how on exactly how to walk through the process so that leak will lead you to it. In 2 days, I'll teach you how to locate the lines. I've got 11 leaks under the slab, and I've got the slab extra thick here, so it's super difficult. But we'll run you through pinpoint leaks under the slab. I've got 1 leak outside of the slab itself so that you know what a probe sounds like, just a normal underground leak. But then also I've got a couple sewer systems set up. I've got 1 cast iron and then 1 PVC, where I'll teach you to go to the double clean out outside of the home and be able to do some isolation testing to determine exactly where a sewer system's leaking. So if this is something that you're still subbing out and you're sending over to leak detection people and you're ready to bring leak detection in-house, give me a call at 1-8888-LEAKPRO. I'd be happy to talk about the equipment or the training and how we can add this to your business. If you want to get online and just check out our website, visit leak.pro. You can book me for a Zoom call there if you want to, and I'll give you a walkthrough demonstration on our equipment, how it's used, and everything that we do in training. So once again, check out the website, leak.pro. Over here, Helping Hands Handyman Service. Day is already getting started. Have an amazing day out there. Man, you do the same. Normally, that is how my days go. I hit the ground running, and I don't think they really stop. But, it's what I enjoy sometimes, too, because I don't like to just sit around. That's for sure. I came from this field, and I was used to always standing and moving and going. I did not stop almost ever. Now we'll get rolled over here into MEP. Okay. Some common inspection failures in mechanical rooms. Okay. And if you've ever walked in an inspection in a mechanical room, you know there's a handful of repeat failures that drive inspectors crazy. Major one, clearances. Whenever you do not maintain clearances, it's like spitting in the inspector's face and going, I don't care. Okay? There's way too often that we crowd piping, conduit, and ductwork so tight that your service clearances are not met. I understand mechanical rooms are tight spaces. Okay? That I spent most of my 20 years working in mechanical rooms and building them. By the time you're done and you get every system in and you get up above all the piping and you look across, it's just a sea of rods is what I would call it, because of all the hangers and all thread that's hanging to support all the different systems throughout. Because we like to put a lot of stuff in a little bitty space. You can keep your clearances though. Build it right. Leave the spacing so that you can actually access it, because the main thing that you need to think about during an install, especially in a mechanical room, is the maintenance guy that has to work on anything after. That's what I used to teach all my apprentices, is put yourself in the maintenance man's shoes. Which way do you want that valve to face if you're running up trying to shut it off? Well, I'd probably put it this way, then install it that way, please. Build your systems for the maintenance later, because somebody will have to come in and throttle that valve, make some changes, do some things, make it accessible for them, and don't cram it in too tight that nobody can get to it. Another one, another big one, labeling. Okay. One of our new guys, he was watching me put on a label the other day. He's like, holy cow, like you're like a professional labeler. And it's like, you just don't know the whole truth to that, because yes, I am. I've put labels on for many, many years, and they have to be straight and perfect and within the right distances and all the stuff. I learned all the right rules to good labeling. But you'd be surprised at how many pump system, valves, panels, they go unmarked. Nobody tags it. Nobody labels it. Nobody knows which pump is number one. Well, we don't know. There's just 3 pumps. I don't know which one's 1, which one's 3. I'm going to guess the one in the middle is number 2, though. But that's a fast way to rack up corrections. Third, penetrations and fire stopping. Okay. Mechanical rooms, it's fire rated walls. Everything has to be done appropriately. Your penetrations have to be fire stopped the right way, whether that's insulated and not. Sometimes you got to end your insulation and actually add a layer of fire stopping in between it. There's lots of different things that happen in those walls. Know what your trade is supposed to do and do it right so that you don't piss off that inspector. MEP contractors sometimes get so focused on their system, they forget that they've just blown through that fire rated wall. Okay. Here's a good lesson. If you train your crews to think like an inspector, to think like the inspector, you're going to save yourself time and rework. I love this because you can create a punch list based on your last 3 inspection fails and build it into your foreman's weekly checklist. My favorite is when you get the guys that build the mechanical rooms doing punch list, for the rooms, for the whole job, you get them on that punch list. They start thinking about those little things that, oh, I got to cut this rod off. It's more than 1 inch past the nut. Let me get it cut off now so that nobody has to come back and deal with that later. You learn some of the small little nuances that happen, that get overlooked, simple things. You get that built into your internal checklist is what I have. But if you actually have a checklist there, it's something to check. It's something I always remember to walk through and kind of look at. Okay, are there any long rods anywhere? Yeah, cut those off. Nope, those can't stay. Check your stuff. And remember, rework, it's not just lost profit. It's damages to your reputation with the GCs and the owners, guys. They don't forget everything that they've got to come back and fix, or that got overlooked. I've seen some books come out as the punch list for mechanical rooms. Luckily, a lot of my stuff wasn't on there. But I've seen some serious ones come out that I've walked on jobs into, and it's just like, dude, what were y'all doing? Rework sucks. Take your time, go through, do it right, and learn from all the mistakes that you make so that you don't remake those mistakes. That's the key. Let's see. Ungovernable, the training you got from LeakPro was great. Use it daily. Man, I love that. That's one of the things that I try to do is pass on as much knowledge as I can that helps daily. We'll move on in here into where's the work and the Midwest logistics corridor. Okay. It's picking up. And guys, we're talking warehouses, battery recycling plants, truck depots being built out from St. Louis through Indianapolis, even into Ohio. Get to run around some of those places sometimes. And for all those that are tuned in, I appreciate y'all sticking around here. Roger is up speaking on a stage up in Oklahoma at the ASA conference. I think Subcontractors Association or something like that. He'll be back in a couple of days. He could tune in a little bit at the end of this or early tomorrow. We'll find out. But back to this, Midwest corridor. You've got e-commerce that is expanding, battery plants that are scaling up. Okay. These regions are offering cheaper land, great access to the interstate highways. For trades, that means opportunities. Steel erection, MEP, roofing, site utilities. All these things mean more work. So, other thing to watch out for here is the retrofit work, guys, because they're going to have to go back into some of these older warehouses and upgrade them. Put some new lighting in them. New HVAC. I don't know how many warehouses I went into. Major thing we were doing, replacing HVAC units. Refrigerated plants, all sorts of plants that we were doing. Dealt with ammonia, refrigeration systems, all sorts of stuff. Racking systems to support that modern distribution. That's one of my favorites. You go in here to do a lot of these automated robotic systems and stuff. You've got to add supports. You've got to beef up the steel. You've got to do all these things. I worked in a lot of industrial and loved it at some of the cool things we got to do. Conveyors, carrying cool stuff. I worked at the GM plant, so I've seen conveyors carrying vehicles. It's really cool to see some of the cool stuff. But if you're looking for where the big contracts are flowing, start tracking your RFPs in Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, if you're up in some of these regions, because it's starting to pick up. They're starting to build a lot of plants up there. And, even for us in Dallas, like we're connected to the main highways and stuff that cruise throughout the country that are tied to everything. And that's why these areas are starting to boom a little more because, like I said, the land's cheaper and they have good access to the roads. And that's what keeps it moving. We'll move on in here to instructor training. All right. And whenever you're training apprentices, reading a safety manual, it's only going to go so far, guys. You need scenario-based safety drills, okay? It's one of the best methods that I've seen. And the best way to do it is use actual job site photos, okay? I was doing a podcast with Dad for the channel, and he was asking me my best and worst day. One of the worst days on the job site was because of an accident. I can still visually see everything. If I would have had a picture, I could teach so many people from that. And it doesn't take much, but when you actually have photos, because everybody's got a phone now, like, come on, we have photos of everything. I love whenever the young generation tells me, oh, if you don't have a photo of it, it didn't happen. You ain't got no proof, so it didn't happen. Yeah, we didn't have phones like that whenever I was a kid. So some things really did happen, even though I have no proof. But here's how it works, guys. Take a real photo of your side. Maybe a scaffold setup, electrical panel. Ask your crew, what's wrong with this picture? Suddenly, safety becomes interactive. One of my favorites, show them a perfect picture and ask them to pick it apart. See if they can find anything. Just to see the things that get thrown out. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, there's something there. Even if there's not, make them look, see what they got. It makes it interactive. You start to see the things that they spot, the things that they're thinking of, what they're looking at. It tells you what they know. And they're not just memorizing the rules, guys. They're spotting the hazards in the real world. I know it's a picture. It's a picture of the real world. I've seen contractors that have cut incident rates by 25% simply by running these 10-minute drills during that toolbox talk. Pictures talk a lot. We used to have a safety guy that would sneak around columns and take pictures of everybody doing things. And then you would get this printout of all these pictures. Okay. It's proof. This is cheap. It's real. It engages every level of the crew. Your apprentice is listening to this and your top lead guy. Everybody's involved. I love making safety where it's everybody involved. Everybody's participating. Everybody's got something to say. Okay. If y'all give away dollar chips for the roach coach, but there you go. For the people that find the right things, y'all get your dollar off lunch, whatever it is. What do y'all do everywhere? I'm curious to that. We used to do that a lot on the jobs. They'd hand out dollar coins, wooden tokens. If you're an instructor or a foreman, this is one of the fastest ways to build safety awareness without boring your team to death. We get tired of just listening to safety. Oh, you're going to have to do this. Da, 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 da. We like when we really do have those real world examples. We're visual people, so pictures say a lot. And you know, there's times even pictures don't show everything. And that's something to remember too. Because I had one, I was on a job working on a cooling tower, nothing overhead. I was working on the very top of the cooling tower. Had a yo-yo tied to the scissor lift under me, and I'm standing up on the rails, tightening this piece of pipe flange down onto the top of the cooling tower. There's no way I can tie off overhead. It's the major. I'm doing this, and I'm looking over, and I see this guy on the parking garage, concrete guy, and I see him pulling his phone out, and I'm like, oh, boss, he's taking a picture. There's going to be a picture of me, but I want you to know, look right now. I am tied off. Here's my yo-yo, da-da-da-da. There's nowhere to tie off overhead. Here's all the things that you need to know because I know that this picture's coming out. The next day, he comes back after a meeting with this full sheet of paper picture of me. He said, oh, yeah, there was a stack of about 50 of these in the office. Here you go. I figure you may want it. I said, oh, man, that's a good photo. I told you. He goes, yeah, I started laughing instantly. He said, yeah, y'all might as well just trash all of them. Why? Because he was tied off. Here's where he was. Here's the situation. He knew that photo was coming. He told me instantly, hey, look at what I'm doing. Here's everything that you need to know. So here's what was going on. He was tied off here. He was doing this. Da, 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 da. He was doing everything right. Oh, yeah. Well, let's just toss all those. We'll get rid of them. He's like, hold on, give me one because I want to take it to the guy. And they did. Because the other guy was really far away. He wasn't sure. You could not tell from where he was. In the picture, you couldn't see my yo-yo. It was behind me. It was going down behind my leg and to the rail. You couldn't really see it. But whenever he talked to them, they're like, look, no, we completely understand. We get it. You're right. Sometimes it's good to learn those things from the photos, from the real things, and it passes on. And people understand that. So sometimes it's a good thing. But we also used that photo to teach others and let them know, look, when you're doing these things, guess what? Yeah, people are going to try to get you in trouble. Keep doing what you know is right. As long as you're doing everything right, you're fine. And that's how we turn that to teach some apprentices some good things. Let's move on in here to specialty. Okay, we've got some high-rise plumbing riser replacements. Now, I've done a lot of high-rises, a lot of shaft work, built some really cool tall buildings. Love it. Hate waiting on the buck hoist, though. Ugh. Love not have to wait on one of those anymore. That's kind of nice. But today we've got high-rise plumbing riser replacements, okay? And if you've ever worked one, you know that they are some of the trickiest projects out there. Okay? You're not just replacing pipe. You're doing it in occupied towers. And I used to do stuff like this a lot. I've done some hospital sewer tie-ins. There's an apprentice with some cool guys, retro guys, man. They're like, dude, you aren't scared of nothing. And it's like, no, my whole family's plumbers. I'm not scared of crap. We can do it. But you've got to coordinate everything. Hospital's really tough, especially sewer tie-ins, because some of the places we didn't really know everything that was tied into which risers, because that's how old the buildings were. But sometimes you got to coordinate with all the tenants. You got to schedule that shutdown, and you're trying to deal with access issues. You can't always get to every location you've got to be at. It is difficult in some existing places. But a big mistake that I see contractors make, it's underestimating the logistics. Okay? You can't just shut water off for 20 floors during business hours. Okay? You have to have 48 hours notice. You need some temporary bypasses, clear communication with the building management. You can't shut off every floor. I mean, unless you're just replacing a main valve or something, and then it's like, yeah, I got to shut off the whole building. You're going to have to let them know ahead of time. You can't just do it. Communication is a lot, and it's the key to keeping this going smooth. But if you're a plumber out there listening, these jobs pay well, but they do demand discipline. You're going to have to label your stacks using color-coded isolation plans. You need to know exactly what's swapping to what when so that you can keep the whole system operating all the time. You're also going to have a rapid response plan if something goes sideways. We always had an emergency cart there for spills and cleanup, had water, liquid absorbing pellets, had all sorts of stuff. Because, guys, it's not just about the pipe. It's about managing disruption. And that's the major part when you are working in any existing facility. It's your job to keep them running smooth. You do not want to affect their daily operations. And if you have to, it's planned. It's well known. It's very openly communicated that they will not have access to these spaces to pass it on and let everybody know. That's a major part. Like, I feel like I talk about that all the time because communication is the key to everything pretty much to keeping things run smooth. You can always notice problems early by a little bit of communication with the right people. We talk about that a lot on this channel back because I used to be a estimator, and you got to get the right people in the rooms to take a look. Sorry guys, I'm getting social media pulled up here so we can get rolling onto it. And today I found one a little different. It's roofing. You know, it's hump day, so we got roofing today, guys. And we are going to have the roofing channel today. Let's see. New videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Info for homeowners, industry advice, and roof knowledge. Okay. We've got the roofing channel over here. It is the destination for people navigating the roofing process. They're out of Nashville. Started this channel in 2021. Just under 7,000 subscribers. Not a massive channel. Almost 1.5 million views, though, with only 213 videos. So this one's a little different, guys. They're doing an incredible job educating not just roofers, but anyone in the trades who want to understand the building envelope basics. Okay. And I think that's pretty cool. And it's just up, once again, like I said, it's up in Nashville. But they have a mix of short form tutorials with deep dive case studies. They've shown some side-by-side footage of improper versus proper flashing techniques. It went viral. Okay. And anybody can. Getting out there teaching, I love, one of my favorites is good and bad. The right way, the wrong way. The do's, the do nots. All of the above. People love to learn that way. We'll do this channel just like we always do. Jump into videos here. Start out with the oldest. Kind of basic, super educational. What is roof decking? What is the underlayment? What is the drip edge? What is ice and water shield? These are all things, if you're wanting to learn some roofing, this sounds like some informational basics. If you're curious what all the parts and pieces are, this is what he's doing. He's going through, they're lining out every part of it and explaining. This is how you can go in and just kind of learn. Okay? It's pure education. But you can study some of this on how they're using these clear visuals. They tell the story. Let's jump into, let's go to popular real quick. Looky there. Why are these the best roof vents? One of our favorites, red X, green circle. Pros and cons, red and green. Everybody knows good and bad. The do's, the don'ts. Visually appealing. We were talking about visual stuff earlier. People are visual. A lot of people. Pros and cons of solar tubes. Okay. We've got skylights here. We've got stuff like that. What's the best material for a flat roof? Don't see a lot of these around here. Saw a ton of flat roofs out in Utah. Saw a bunch of sloped roofs and then one flat roof in the middle of this one neighborhood. And that just kind of blew my mind. I was wondering if it was a roofer that wanted his flat roof. But I think it's pretty cool just going in here and learning some of the different things, guys. Some of the latest stuff, testimonials about Bill Reagan roofing. And this is it. This is what socials is for. Go through promoting your company, what you do, the do's, the do nots, the goods and the bads. People know that you know those things, then they know that you're going to look at their roof and try to do their roof the right way. You understand the do nots. You understand how to do the installs. You're trying to teach people how to do the installs. That's how Dad, Roger, promoted his channel, used his channel. It was just to get the company phone ringing more. Okay. And if you're wanting to up your content game, you can study the clear visuals and the job site storytelling to build authority. If you're in roofing, this account, it's basically free continuing education, guys. Now, this is up in Nashville. It's in that area, so you're going to want to be in that area if you're wanting to study these roofs. Roofing is a little different everywhere around the country for sure. Let's see what they got over here in shorts real quick. Okay. Yep. Roofing bird's eye view, just things that are actually going on. Putting some shingles down, cleaning up job sites. People just doing the different parts and pieces. But I love this one. As weird as it is, cleaning up the job site. Okay. Now, is anybody out there looking for that? No. That video is for their customers, though. That's why that video is there. Because that's something that I learned about having a roof. What's important? The cleanup that they do when they're done. So if you're showing your customers that your guys know exactly what to do when it's time to clean up, that can generate business. So don't be scared. Don't be limited on the things that you are putting out there. Put things out there that promote you, promote your business, promote your guys, promote what y'all are doing right, and what the customers can expect from y'all's service. So definitely a good one to keep in thought there. We'll get rolled over into best practices. This is sponsored by Residential Service Professionals. And guys, the spotlight's on the residentialserviceprofessionals.com. Okay. And Dad and them built this community specifically for service contractors. I'm talking plumbers, HVAC techs, electricians who are actually trying to scale smarter, not harder. Go through and learn from people that have done it. They've been there, they've done it, guys. And that's like leak detection. You know, he's in here. The training's great. We're professionals. We've been there. We've done it. We've learned it. We've been through a lot of trainings and things like that. Catered this to where this is now the best training. That's what we've built. I made it super hard. And that's what a lot of my people love. They're like, dude, you are so right. It was harder there. But now that I'm home doing leak detection, man, it's so much easier. You're right. The slabs are thinner here. I told you. No slab on any home is going to be as thick as what we were listening through. But this residential service professionals, you know, what makes it different is you are learning from coaches who have actually been in the trades. Not consultants with fancy slideshows. I mean, Dad does make some fancy slideshows, don't get me wrong. But people who have actually run crews, run big jobs, built water parks, did all this great stuff. Built companies, multiple companies. They understand the headaches that you're dealing with. They've been there. He's been worried about trying to get the phone to ring. Learn from somebody who's been there and done the same struggles before you enter the struggles. Guidance and training, having that coach, person to bounce questions off of, forums to go in and ask questions to, things like that. It helps you. Okay. But inside of the residential service professional stuff, if you do it, you're going to find tools, pricing calculators, hiring frameworks, some SOP checklist, and marketing templates. The goal is to save you time and cut out the trial and error. The best part is the crew culture. There's weekly coaching calls, masterminds, there's some private groups. You're surrounded by owners who get your world and want to see you win. One of the best things that I've learned from Dad, get in the right groups, get in the right rooms, talking to the right people, especially people that are on the same path you're on, because y'all can all learn from each other and learn from the coaches that are passing down the knowledge. But you're all going to interpret a little different. And that's the cool thing about here is you don't have to just do this one way and that's it. No, you can help get it customized for you, the way you want your business to go. So if you're tired of figuring it out alone, check them out at residentialserviceprofessionals.com and let them help you on your journey. You know, they want you to be successful just like they were. But everybody, man, it's Wednesday, hump day. Roger's up in Oklahoma speaking on the ASA stage, probably wrapping up. He'll be there again tomorrow. I definitely appreciate y'all showing up. Would like to thank LeakPro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks, where we build the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And guys, I always suggest checking out the complete kit at our website, leak.pro. It's the business in the box, comes with both pieces of equipment that we build. That way you're covered for outdoor underground lines or even anything under a slab, whether that's a slab on home, driveway, sidewalks, patios, any of that. The LeakPro Complete Kit will have you covered wherever that leak's at. So check out the complete kit at our website, leak.pro. But guys, don't just settle on the equipment. If you don't know how to go through and do leak detection, come spend a couple days with me here just outside of Dallas, Texas. I offer a 2-day in-person training where I will walk you through every aspect you needed to know in our process to go through do leak detection. I've got a slab out here. You'll start out with 130,000 square inches. You're going to be able to tell me where that leak is within 12 by the end of the 2 days. No problem. We call it in the hole. So if you want to learn or get your guys trained on how to do leak detection on water lines under the slab, outside of the slab, even how to determine where sewer systems are leaking, give me a call at 1-8888-LEAKPRO. I'd be happy to talk about the equipment or the training and how we can add this to your list of services. Everybody, happy freaking hump day. Hope to see you back here tomorrow for a fun Tequila Thursday. We'll see how it's going. But I appreciate y'all showing up. We'll see you here tomorrow, guys. Get out there, stay safe, hit it effing hard. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.